Welcome to the third iteration of. I don't really like the term yap session anymore. I'm going to be honest. Um, yeah, it's a yap session, but I don't know what else to call it. I guess for now we'll keep it a yap session. Um, I was thinking all day about what I would talk about for this video. It seems like I'm putting a little more pressure on it now, but I still want it to be a pretty chill thing. So I think I had a word in mind. Let me try to remember what it was. I think it was perspective. Perspective is the word of today's video. Perspective. I'm going to talk a little bit about what that means to me and see if I can provide a little bit of insight. So, perspective. Can we try to define perspective without looking up a definition? Perspective is like the angle. Perspective is how you see something. It's like, what's your perspective? Is it first person, third person? Everybody lives in first person perspective. So to see life from somebody else's point of view, you have to see it from their perspective. You have to walk in their shoes. So this is important because when you only see things from your perspective, which is, your perspective is watching me. But if you saw it from my perspective, you would see a, a different view. Um, This is important because it's important to have different views. The reason it's important to have different views is to consider all possibilities. When you consider all possibilities, you're able to pinpoint the best course of action, decision, whatever. For me, I've gained perspective in my life through various different avenues. Some of them, I guess, I probably can't talk about on TikTok because I don't want to get censored or banned. But let's just say um, one of the biggest things that really gave me perspective in life was moving across the country. I Once I dropped out of college, I lived at home for a few months and I decided that my life wasn't really going anywhere. So I decided to move across the country and start over in a sense, or just get a different perspective on life. I had lived on the East Coast my whole life, and like I've said in previous videos, my parents moved me down to Florida. I really didn't like that change. Um, it was a new perspective for me, and since I had the old perspective of living in Georgia, I was like, I don't want to. I was like, perspective is good, but sometimes it gives you insight to what you don't like. So I was like, I don't want to live at home. I don't want to live in Florida. I got to get out of here. So just like I went to North Carolina for college for this perspective change, I was like, North Carolina was not far enough. So I went all the way to Portland, Oregon, and that's where I started work at a steel mill. This gave me a very unique perspective of life on the West Coast. Very different than life here on the East Coast. Not so different. I mean, we're all Americans, so we all have the same routines, go to work, blah, 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 blah. But the way that people treat you over there is a whole lot different for sure. I think there's a reason people talk about Southern hospitality. Honestly, I think that's starting to go away. I think we're starting to mix so much, and so many different cultures and people are coming together that you're kind of losing what makes parts of the country special. Um, I guess I guess it's not like a bad thing that we're all mixing together, but I just do remember people being a lot nicer in the South um, when I was younger. Maybe it's just because I was a kid and now I'm cynical and I'm a little more grown up and everything sucks and I hate everyone, but not everyone, but most people suck. Um, I won't say that. I don't want to be so negative. Not most people suck, but people are just a little more, I don't know. It seems like while I would like to believe there is a shift happening in a certain part of society that, people are starting to care about other people, you have this whole other sect of society that is so self-centered. It's just like me, 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 me. Now, I always thought if you were to take care of your neighbor and their neighbor took care of their neighbor, eventually it would wrap around and everyone would be taking care of each other. But nowadays, it's every person for themselves. It's like survival out here. It's like survival of the fittest, get it how you can. Um, I don't know. I got someone walking up on me, so might just go mute for a second and let them pass. What are we doing here? What's the goal we're trying to accomplish in life as a society? Where are we trying to get as a society? The direction that we're heading is not in a good direction. There's, war going on, famine going on, genocide. Oops, shouldn't say those words on TikTok. I feel like there needs to be like a list they give you of words not to say. I know the G one is one that TikTok doesn't like hearing, so hopefully I don't get flagged. I don't know. I got to be careful with what I talk about. Anyways, it's important to have perspective on these things because, someone's perspective in the Middle East is going to be different than my perspective. Over there, they might be fighting for survival. Over here, it feels like survival, whereas it's not survival in the same sense. But everybody has their own perspective on life, and everyone has their own unique experience. So when you discredit someone's experiences, maybe you haven't seen it from their perspective. Once you start, that's what I was trying to get to earlier. Everybody's so self-centered. Not everybody. I won't make that generalization. I don't like making generalizations, but if people stopped caring about themselves so much and started caring about other people more, the entire world would change. But everyone has self-interest at their heart. I think a lot of this is due to um, I think the inherent nature of capitalism. I think capitalism gives you this idea that you can come up with an idea or make something and that will get you rich, but there's only so much money on the earth. So, I mean, we can create more, but it just creates inflation. So, it just doesn't make sense that some people would be so self-centered that they have to hoard all of it. And it's like you got these billionaires who have like billions of dollars and there's people starving and they're like, oh, I'm going to donate to some charity. It's like, no, you're just doing that so we don't, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's, okay, fuck. Perspective. That's the word of the day. Whenever you think that you are 100% right, or let's say you think that your religion or your favorite song is the best song, well, maybe you need some new perspective because perspective is what provides powerful insight into making impactful decisions in a conscious way. Look, this has been another Yap session by Jones Key TV. I will catch you in the next one, team.